녹화요?
이거는
라이브
이거는 잘 들어가.
아니 이거는 그냥 그 라이브 캐스트를
주는 거야.
여기 있는 거 라이브 주는 라이브.
아 근데 지금부터 해야 돼.
목소리 내가 뭐.
아니.
여기서 녹화 안 하고 거기 녹화.
여기만 녹화된다.
녹화해야 돼. 컴퓨터.
이거 누르시면은
할 때마다 녹화 껐다 켰다 하는 거 모르겠어요.
여기에 누가 앉아 있어?
네,
네.
제가 앉아 있어요.
네.
이게 퍼포먼스 하기 전에 레코딩 버튼
네.
여기서 하면 여기서 그냥 바깥에서 하면
이거는 그거 되는 거야? 게스트로
아니 호스트가 아니고
그러니까 이거 주기가 이 컴퓨터에서 나오는 거. 내가 들어오는
얘는 그냥 좀 참여.
참여.
근데
녹화를 열어.
발표자랑 카메라 같이 녹화.
하면은 요거로 좀 대표적 보이는 거.
일단 해보라니까. 일은 내버려. 응? 똑같은 일은 내. 이와 스포츠 뭐안 하고. 세상은 왜 기다리지?
그거 진짜 아니야.
우리가
떨어지는 거구나.
익스를 되면 색깔이요. 이거는 두 개다가 얘는 하나. 쟤는 당연히 있으니까. 저거를 신발에 생각 퍼플판을 하나를 더 적어놨어. 그리고 선발 이거 그래서 그냥 그 아니 중밖에 안 되겠지.
I would just end this outpost and then into housing and safety work. Yeah, this one is residence area, this one housing, this one experience. I don't want to explore.
뺐다.
The job work. Second one. Can I be on the shoot?
나또 여러 가지
물어봤어. A 우리가 A 옵션이죠.
Only one person who thinks that there should be. Also cool.
그 멀티탭 그거 원래 연결돼 있던 거 빼면 안 되는데 아무도 안 쓰는 거야? 안 쓰는 것만 하지 않는데 저 몰라 혹시 뭐 연결돼 있는 봐봐 연결돼 있는 거 아니야? 없어 연결돼 있는 거 이거 혹시 연구하는 거 연결돼 있는 거 빼면 안 돼.
There's no way.
더 높여야 될 것 같은데. 짧은 거.
이게
어,
Wait, let's go to bed.
밑에
Oh,
거.
it's house, right?
그 유튜브
Because that's the first time that would be. But I find that previously it was a lot.
저는 사무가 무서워. 사무가 되게 무서워.
Small.
오늘 지금
No, smash it was small.
아니 이렇게 크게 땡겨주고
But it seems.
여기는 게임하는
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's what I actually.
Hi. So much to that.
되었어요.
register 좀 해. Could you register your name and collect some booklet and then
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. From around my Come on.
그래서
please welcome and register your name and there are some juice and that side up there, and have your salt, water. Okay.
At 4 a.m. I was already up.
What time is it now?
In Europe,
In Europe?
it's still not.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay, right?
But like, yeah, we also have to send them.
But we are, no, this is not. Someone send me the info. Yes, yes, yeah. I hope it is.
Hello, you guys. You need to register. 55mm. I sent to
See, okay, it's the same, but just. 제 거요?
내가 번호를 준비했고
아니다.
아파트 실거래가
포세타가 리뷰.
스톱하는 게 나을 것 같아. 근데 그냥 포스하는 스톱해서 너무 알았어. 파일 여러 개보다 하나 낫지 않아? 포스에 가면 돼.
It's really small.
Regarding your work on the
I take it off.
with regard to the work on the I was just thinking that one is more design, one is more historical. With regarding your work on the
Yes.
my work, I was thinking to say something like first of all, I wanted to say that I use these methods that we think about architecture as an expanded system. Work, how it would work started with which in more cases is we worked on evolution and design of the tree. Yeah, maybe can you want to say something?
It's I'm doing design, but
Oh, I don't see. Okay. No, I mean, I know that there is a research. And then in my case, I was about to say, I'm currently studying research. One is more focused. Another one is I was thinking that this would make sense also for the then they understand that and then this is more some activities so and the program will be production. Yeah.
Today we have unfortunately, we don't have any going, so maybe you shift the left side. You guys are right one. Please make room for the each side.
don't feel really comfortable.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you should say. Yeah, no, I understand that. Maybe when it comes to color, this is a couple of words.
지금부터 녹화 시작해도
시작할 때만
아 지금은
인트로덕션, 렉처 이렇게
Yeah, I didn't explain this part. So we'll start with the using our sites, so that we can use the videos and the and explore this video activities and understand what we learn from the life exploration. These are some of the one of the components of exploration analysis unpredictability of what we discovered. So for example, one group 2 years ago decided to locate different parts of the world and we start to record everything that they from different positions. So for example, the camera is this is a good metaphor for see things from different angles. point of view. We did in this case, it was interesting to notice that the student, one of the students solved this report is the trash that usually goes unseen because this report has through the camera on the web level. And then I decided to develop a response proposal design project based on this observation. Here we focus on conflict because we are not just to cover this all the students are familiar with this topic. Conflict is not just construction material, but it's
Okay, we are waiting for the 6 more.
system relations that brings together different materials and also human. It's not because it's not a matter that exists in nature, it comes together with human work. So definition, we also integrate the different types of for instance, a parameter for different conflict. So this human action will allow us to understand how conflict shapes society. And then we will also look at conflict then as a system that goes away beyond but it goes into the landscape as a system that brings together the kind of structure, manufacturing, move, let's say, and I will match what about I want to say that working on research on this topic. Yeah, maybe because this is part of it. So research, we are working with research with different ways. This is some images from research. Focus on demolition. For new aesthetics, new structural performance of concrete. And these are some photographs from current research that are developing in this so this sounds the structure. The sign of touch on this concrete, the introduction of concrete, through lenses such as technologies and experience, instruction speed, scale, structural functional performances. They will be asked to record to make an observation using the cameras to record the different possibly find topics.
How many
As an alpha, we will use this map that already is we are not really consider high and low forms of computer architecture. So based on what the students in the projects deliver,
여기서 만들어달라고.
exponential maps, counter maps, and the critical value. Then
하나씩 들어갔어. 이게 옛날에 이게
how does it work? I mean, you can skip this part. I just wanted to give the other to be is free, but maybe I can use this. I can skip that last slide. I can do the maybe I don't need to resolve that. I just say that the formatting program can work on architectural concepts or other forms of proposals. You will show something. Well, this presentation is not very long. It will be more or less the same as I just told you. It will be 45 minutes or something. 5 to 7. It's better for the speed. I'm just going this way because I don't have this. I'm still just going to do bridges and put that
You guys have already Seoul concrete map.
Yes, I got that one. I got chase. Yeah, it's nice. No? No, I bought. I do. So really? No, I bought it. It's I don't know. Oh, I just found it online. I think it was good. It's a list of different buildings. Really?
So is it about the concrete building or concrete? Everything is concrete. All building are by concrete.
I mean, the idea is that the students will be free to decide what is the topic. But if they have problems to find one, we have the map, or we can find something that just to be sure that they don't feel too much stress. And they don't find the problem.
Yeah. I get the point by yourself. Actually, yeah, we need to reach to them. So,
Also, in that list, there are only iconic concrete buildings.
So they're building only all concrete.
Yeah, no other outdoor materials. But are only like designed by famous architects, so
They're very iconic. They are very small. Only made by concrete.
you know the one with this curves.
No, it's really small. Small. Like this way.
Maybe it can be a copy.
I like the
Right, yeah, it's really urgent. We have to have our direction. How we treat conflict in the future. Yeah. There is a problem with the production. Yeah, it implies so many different social. It's highly complex social, which is
문 앞에 가서 될 것 같아. Okay, please sit and then we will start 10 shortly. Hey, new friends. It's time to make new friends.
거의 작성은 안 온다고 more than that is for the I mean, like, for if you talk 1 minute for the one. I do it on one semester. Write nice comments. Also can fix the ties with the spirit and I can do it a bit. It's a new thing. This fall semester I will teach for the class and I will in Florence. Different and also to be focused on content. There's an open course for 3 courses. And I propose one focusing on conflict. It's basically the same course that I teach in Brazil, but that one is focused on this is conflict in Europe. So now I conflict in South Korea. Maybe at some point for something else, you can be possible to build application projects with the students. The best projects can be done for like sort of global narratives of conflict. The next time I can hit the US. So we can integrate, of course, these scores that we do together.
Okay, could you don't please? Okay, hello everyone. Hi, morning, and maybe you have a good trip to the Seoul. Welcome. Welcome to AAVS Seoul 2024. Ring the bell. And as you see, my name is Sung Lee. I'm co-director of AAVS and also currently teaching in Yonsei University. And then I introduce another co-director. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, my name is Jaewon Lee. I'm teaching in the Yonsei University. I'm operating my own business. Welcome to Seoul.
Teaching at the university, same time running his own practice of architecture station. And then I'll briefly introduce today the things to do. This program basically 2 main sessions. Before the lunch break, we're gonna have a little introduction and then maybe unit presentation by tutors. It's really helpful to choose which unit you're gonna choose it. And then after lunch break, we will have a quick interview, depend on your unit choice. Then we arrange the whole student your unit preference, right? Then you're gonna have a individual workshop and unit, right? So don't forget that apply to the unit choice, right? So there are a few QR code there. So please be careful to listen to the unit presentations.
this might be the connection. So important thing is Wi-Fi, right? So we have a public access Wi-Fi, so you can say open thing. So I will show the the unit space workspace is 6th floor. So they also have this access address, so we're gonna use it the Wi-Fi, right? Okay, so in booklet, there we mentioned about what's the critical space near under this space, but really we only just classroom. So now we are A563. So this venue will happen introduction, lecture, and meet and final critical in this case. So the 5th floor. So don't miss out the venue. And then otherwise, we will use a unit space as a workspace in the 5th floor. So we will use three spaces. So A68. So unit 1 and 2 use this space. And unit 3 will use A65. So after the break, and then we'll move to the 6th floor, and then I show the unit space. Okay. Hi, already know about the AA school, right? That's why we're starting here. So AA school has been like almost like 170 years, and then very small school, facing the type of scale, but it's quite global school as well. So it's quite interesting place. So each year they have a program. Visiting program. So this visiting program is happening to all around the world, like Asia and Europe and America. Sometimes they happen in South Pole. But not only the places, it also happen all through the year as well. So January, February to December. So if you really wanted to join another workshop, maybe you might be interested. In any time, any place you can access, right? So it will happen globally and locally. So it's for example, like the last year we have Mallorca in Spain and Turkey and Arcus and Cuba, Havana. So some places a bit dangerous, looks dangerous, but not really. So and also was at one of our tutor Fabrizio, he also learning the AAVS Basel. So it's quite interesting program. It's just recently finished, right? 1 month ago.
Yeah.
So the program is always linked to the Basel art fair, right?
Yes.
It's quite interesting. So if you really like it, you apply to it.
Thank you.
Okay, this is our brief history about AAVS Seoul. It's been like over 10 years. And then this is 8 years ago. We have a happy time. And students really enjoy our browsing scene. And then I show the brief history of our social algorithm group because AAVS is learning by Yonsei University. At the same time, we have a real research group we call social algorithm research group. And then there are history, social side and algorithm side. Social side, Professor Ju Sung is over there.
Hello, everyone.
She's a researcher for the, she always tries to find like quality or value on catchable, unmeasurable. So it's more like I don't know. It's a very difficult topic. But the professor is Sumin Ham. She is algorithmic side, so she mostly deal with numbers. So she is doing like catchable and measurable things. It's quite contradictory in there are two parts. So something two key person, or might be they will be researched together and they will make something, I don't know. That's how we started, right? So 10 years ago. So there are two sides, the social agenda side and the computational side. So 주근석 and 진석파 and co-director 재원이 and 최승하, there are social side, and then Subihan and myself and Judy over there, there are computational side. So that's how it started. So we have a phase one. So over the 8 years, we tried to combine two topics. And then phase two, we little bit like not really successful at it. I don't know how you feel that, but that's why we start like okay, let them what they want. I mean, that's why we separate like a social study side and then competition side, totally two different sides nowadays, right? So, and then this is another key moment. So he's Kristen Pierce, he's the director of his OA visiting program. And then you can see the younger version of me over there. Yeah, it's another younger version of me. And have a happy moments. Yeah, this. Everyone looks happy, but not always, right? Because it's design project here. So, and moment always happen like this because it's 10 days intensive workshop, right? But don't worry, after that, always happy, right? And then finally, we will have a 10 years traditional power BBQ party, and then there are unlimited like drink and beer and maybe barbecue as well. So this is a highlight of our program. Right? And then let me introduce like assistants of this program and Lina Kim. In Chinese or Korean? So she can speak Chinese as well, so if you want, and then she can speak English very well. She's from Australia.
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand, sorry. Aussie doesn't like TV. TV Aussie there. And then weekend and Saturday, Sunday, normally schools closed. So you might ask the Yonsei University student to open the main gates, especially tomorrow. So you might have a, what was that? After the arrange the like the units things, there are a couple of Yonsei students over there. So you maybe organize how you getting in weekend, right? Tomorrow and Sunday. All right. I hand over to Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. One me and introduce me. And welcome to Seoul, and especially business school. And this year, I'm really happy to have many students, 48 students joining us in AAVS. So I really wanted to enjoy that, learn more things from our tutors. And this year, our themes and the agenda of this year is the evolution of Seoul as a city. So Seoul with a millennial history and has been drastic transformation from not just by its residents, by the architecture. So I think these workshops aim to delve deeper into the interplay between Seoul's architecture and social system, exploring how each has influenced each other. So I like to share some works of mine and students to read this end. So Seoul, from the first sight, Seoul is very complex, at the same time unexpected and contradictory metropolis. So I question why this format system has been created. So over the couple of years, and I found architecture and urban space and form are varied by time and special situations. Aridong Verge, this side, is transformed by the Joseon urban hamlets and in 1920s. At the same time, linear types of commercial housing block in Sadangro is related to courtyard housing blocks. the shops are transformed by users program at the same time, so they are their own units. So, but this one sadly transformed as a different condition at this time. And also Sinung Market in Yongsan, in Haebancheon, is transformed from the street market with the housing. And at the first time, to collective single buildings, individual buildings without housing blocks. In Ulchiro, maybe I think some units are dealing with Ulchiro this time. And Ulchiro has been generated from the Joseon dynasty. So at this time, new development plan happening. So when they demolished that old building and they found the new remains of Joseon dynasty. So this area has been transformed from Joseon dynasty, and then it transformed it 2 times in modern era, 1920s in Japanese colonization era, and then modernization in 1960s. Now there's new development happening at this time. So this is kind of, we can see the different variation, transformation happening, and we can check it out on this side. Also, we can see that some different kind of variation happening in this area from our students' works. Also, some metalworking studio, this has been transformed by their ritual, and the generic buildings or virtual area has been transformed by artists with. At the same time, for artist building studios has been transformed by following the language of our structure. So by those, and then let's go back to Gangnam area, and the Gangnam is kind of new development area from 1970s, and Gangnam is kind of super block area. So Gangnam is the very change different time in terms of the very boundaries of the blocks. So boundary is defining different quality of variation of architecture. So we can see this drawing, and then actually all kind of Gangnam ground floor has been transformed in terms of making walking networking system in this time. So also apartment building has been transformed by the users, given their demand desire at the same time, and multi-housing building is following that transformation as well. So I think as a life is evolved by differentiated survival breeding in nature selection by Charles Darwin, and the Seoul architectural boundary evolved and they generated unexpected complex landscape. So, and in 2024 in the AAVS, we are examining the evolution of Seoul city broadly on the perspectives of each unit. So this time, and we have 3 different units, and the unit 1, and they're operated by Catherine and Fabrizio, and then they are dealing with concrete methods. And the unit 2, and by Samo Satoshi and Tama Hashimoto, they are dealing with press perspectives. The unit 3 is dealing with human by architecture by other. And 5 tours will join this year. And actually, Catherine and Fabrizio is running this unit for 3 years. They are deeply, I think, doing research about concrete as a kind of symbolic material to understand now the contemporary culture, I think. And then they want to look at the concrete itself to look at into the city itself. And then Sao Satoshi and Tamo Hashimoto will maybe draw and then I think illustrate and demonstrate in city and situation with the sensor of the future. And then other people will maybe try to find how and then architecture has been transformed by human by using some AI kind of engines, which he generated in this time, especially. So the timetable, maybe you guys already have here, so you can check the timetable. And important day is today is unit presentation is really crucial day. And then you have to look at the books you already have it, and then read us on your brief very briefly, and try to understand what they really want to achieve in this time, and then try to find which one you want to decide. And then we want to have a unit selection. And that Monday and Tuesday, we are having keynote lectures. Monday, we're going to have a JFO and Kijun Lee. They operate their unit for a couple of 2 years, last couple of 2 years. They are sharing their unit works relating to their own project. Also, the 9th of July, we're going to have a Professor Jung Min Ha. And she is kind of giving a keynote lecture about what she is about designing by thinking the environment for situation. And also we want to have a music treat in the morning time or on Wednesday. And then separately we want to have a field trip conducted by unit tours. And then on Sunday, and we are having final quiz. And then we want to have Fumi Hashimura. She is the professor in the Tokyo University of Arts. And then she's coming to give a critique at the same time, give a keynote lecture about her works, especially focusing on Africa. And then we're going to have a drinking dinner party. And this is already informed by the lesson. And we are going to sharing our events by YouTube. So we are recording at this moment. So you can see our previous works or previous events by our YouTube account. And yeah, and then this is our Google Drive. So you all need to download certain forms of our InDesign format, and downloading and then using, and at the same time you need to promote your works and by conducting your tours. Also, and this one you have to follow certain formats of the portfolio InDesign template. Right? So because once you finish all your documentation works, we want to compile everything. So we are thinking to publish works maybe after we are talking with the tourists. So I really want you guys document very well about your works. Although it is short workshop, but at the same time it's a long period. So 10 days is really long period to produce very interesting works. So I really want you guys document and making a drawing day by day. And yeah, so after that, you all need to submit your entire package and PDF and file submission on the Google Drive. You have to download it, right? Right, so the interview, actually the interview is really one of the very crucial moments. It's kind of very amazing moment as far as I remember in AA cultures. So at the AA, the first weeks of the semester, first semester, the tutors really must represent their brief and agenda to the public. After listening the presentation, students will apply for the unit interview. So as everyone, as Madison and June, we all need to waiting for our orders to get the first choice. So I think this is moment for a long time. So that's why we make this role. So we can see here like more lineup. Maybe this unit is really famous, right? So many people apply. So like that culture, we want to follow that culture. So this did happen last time as well last year. Right? So you all need to read a book and then put your first, and second, third choice by following that QR code. And then we're gonna sort it out, and then we're gonna maybe pin up the papers, your interview time, right? On the sixth floor. And then we wanna have an interview with the tutors. And then maybe you will get you will maybe enter the unit one. Right? So it's kind of small kind of experiencing kind of selling by yourself. So sell yourself why you are interested, why you like, why you are really interested in this field. Okay, so thank you for listening. And from now on, and then we are going to start present from Unit 1 and Unit 3 and Unit 2 because Professor Sano will join the workshop next week. So he's gonna join the unit introduction by Zoom week, right? So we're gonna do Unit 1 and Unit 3, right? Thank you. Then I went to the screen. Hello everyone, my name is Fabrizio, I'm an architect. I teach architectural history and urban research at the University of Basel in Switzerland, and also at Parsons School of Design in New York. And together with Kevin, we run this unit at the program. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Catherine. I'm an architect and educator based in New York City. Associate at Andrew Franz Architect, and I teach design studio at New York Institute of Technology. I'm involved in a oral history project about the reflective findings of the Institute.
So the unit for the series entitled Concrete Matters, and as it was mentioned before, it's the third year that we run the unit here in Seoul. The premise of this unit was basically the idea to explore architecture and the environment, not as just a passive reflection of immaterial entities like social structures and capitals or political forces, but understanding that architecture and urbanization are also transformations in brick and mortar. And in order to understand this this angle of knowing, this way of knowing the environment, we think that rather than studying only on books in the school rooms, it's important to go out and look at the buildings firsthand and explore the city and make their own observations, our own observations through explorations. So these are some photographs from the last year. Field work together with the students of the AAVS Seoul. This is an interesting method that was created by some students 2 years ago. I think it's important to mention that exploring the city directly has this element of serendipity, which is really interesting. It's like it's very unpredictable what you can discover while you walk and you focus your attention on things that connect with you emotionally. In this case, for example, the students tried to challenge the method and to record what they saw. They decided to locate different phones from cameras in different parts of their bodies in order to record from different angles the city. And this is a good metaphor of what we try to do in this unit. So try to see the city from different perspectives, different points of view. And the project in this case, one of the students in this group noticed that in many of the videos recorded, for example, by using a camera that was attached to the leg, a lot of trash was included in the videos, and he decided to use this as basically the focus of this project. So he delivered an interesting proposal based on the use of trash. This year we will focus on concrete, as it was mentioned before. As we are in architecture school, I believe that most of you are familiar with the construction material. You know what concrete is. Concrete, it's very interesting because it's not a material that exists in the nature. It's a material that is assembled. It's an assemblage of different materials. So there is the powder of cement, there is the aggregate, there is the sand, there is the water, there is also the iron when it's reinforced. So all these materials, they come from different sources and different parts of the landscape, and they come together essentially through human work. So differently from other materials like timber or stone, concrete is a step forward towards the humans. So as also Jerome mentioned before, concrete is a social material. It's a social material because it integrates many different traits, many different steps in order to be constructed. So more than a construction material, we will think about concrete as a system or a technology that brings together humans and non-humans. So in other terms, if we want to give a definition of what concrete is, and maybe use the parameters, the characteristics that are frequently mentioned to define concrete, like workability, strength, durability, grit, shrinkage, and weight, we also need to add the human action. So this is concrete. It's something that comes together through human action. Because of this statement, we will try to focus on concrete as concrete buildings as expanded systems. So we will not limit our analysis on the perimeter of a building that you might select as a case study, but we will try to understand how concrete, even if it looks static, is not a static material, but it's an expanded material that touches on very far landscapes where the materials are extracted, manufactured, distributed, and reassembled finally in architecture form. Both of us, we are working on research on concrete currently. These are some images from research that Catherine developed about demolition and possible new aesthetics and structural performances for concrete debris. I am currently researching the history of concrete in Sicily and in Switzerland, trying to develop new narratives that can show how concrete as an agency in shaping the society, culturally, not only environmentally. And here we will focus on soil, concrete in soil. The unit will be divided into 3 phases. We will start with the seminar with like very little amount of readings, but very important. We will discuss these readings, and we will also give you brief tutorials of explorative research methods and filmmaking. Then we will move to the field research. So we will go outside of the university. We will walk, document, and make an interpretation of what we see. We will ask you to record, to use your phone cameras to record what you see during these walkings. And then at the end, we will work together to translate the data that you have collected into a project, into a proposal. So we will design, we will also exercise presentations, and finally you will deliver your design narrative. During the seminar, we will touch briefly on the history of concrete and some theoretical frameworks on materiality that will be the foundation of the unit. Then for the field work, we will implement principles of psychogeography, which is the idea that emotions and behaviors are connected with the spaces. So we will use this idea as a method to explore the city in a way that it's not pre-ordered, but you will be really free to decide where to go and to find your own topic. We will use lenses. It's like a filter that you will decide before going in the city to examine what the concrete is
So for example, you can decide that you want to focus on the typology of buildings, or a certain type of typology, or a style, form, symbolism, experience, history, or the speed of the construction, the scale of the building, the structural and functional performances. We can also discuss other lenses that can be interesting. This is just to give an idea of what you can do. As I mentioned before, you will be asked to use your phone cameras to record what you see and to create short videos that can provide a statement for what is going to be your final research and design proposal. This will be delivered in the midterm. So you are all encouraged to find your own topics, but we also have found this map, the concrete soil map, which already lists 50 iconic concrete buildings in Seoul. But we want to stress the idea that we are not only focusing on iconic buildings necessarily, but we want to treat the high and low forms of architecture the same way. So you are free to decide to focus on something that is not like one of these iconic buildings, but maybe it's more like a standard concrete development that you find interesting. And also the final format for your work is very open. This is just an idea, but in general, I think we will start from the architectural concept, but this can take also different forms. It can be like a graphic novel, it can be a map, it can include even a documentary. Now, Kevin will show you some of the projects that have been developed last years so that you can have an idea of what you're going to do.
So because our format is quite open, we wanted to show you a few examples, just to give you an idea of what is possible in this unit. So this is, I'll show you 3 videos of field research. This first video by Young Kang documented hundreds of pieces of illuminated signage. And she discovered the discrepancy between the lifespan of signage materials and its value, which is determined by legibility of the signage. The second video by Sehun Min and Suchang Lee is a close study of the relationship between materiality and human movement. This group was looking at finding traces of the speed of human movement embedded in construction materials. But in the end, what they found instead was kind of slowness created by trees, which you'll see towards the end. So like in the second video, there are usually unexpected discoveries made along the way. So this group was first looking at construction materials, but instead they found vegetation as a building material. And this unexpected discovery, as Fabrizio mentioned, is one of the key points of walking and documenting. This last video by Soyeon Han she began documenting rust in commonly used exterior metals. And what she found is that rust embodies traces of human touch, which helped transform her understanding of rust from physical deterioration to evidence of social art. So these 3 videos have been condensed quite a lot, but they are culled from hours and hours and days of documentation and observing. And just to reemphasize, this field research is an active observation exercise. So you should take notice and let reality surprise you. So through the walking process, you'll learn to formulate an architectural or urban question. And in the second half of the workshop, you'll be responding to this question with a proposal. And to us, this is an important step which forces you to take a position and move towards a critical action. So in 2022, we walked around Seoul, which is a historically industrial neighborhood with small-scale fabric that collides with newer taller buildings. And we attempted to observe and document the temporality of Seoul and human activity embedded in this built environment. So from several days of this field work, we extrapolated 4 lenses, such as fast and slow urban development, fast and slow human movement, fast and slow urban metabolism, and fast and slow observation. So this is one of the videos that you saw, and through iterative recordings about materials and human movement, here are 2 stills from the video. This group found the capacity of urban trees to create slowness, while simultaneously discovering the deformation required of these trees in the process of their instrumentalization and urbanization. So their proposal responded by subverting the building first, tree second idea. This is another video from 2022. This group observed that walking, which is on the right side of each of the stills, versus other transportation methods like riding a bus, generates very different relationships between the walker and the city. And using this slowness, participation, relationship, this group presented ways to slow down the development of the redevelopment of Uchigo through a series of small interventions that engage citizens with their surroundings, offering workshops and tutorials in active fabrication facilities to increase exposure to existing craft and fabrication techniques, and creating a walking museum inside decommissioned shops and roofs to capture these buildings and their historic state. And then last year, we focused primarily on looking closely at construction and demolition waste, an often invisible and overlooked part of architecture's material reality that illuminates our current rules for material selection and their social and environmental impacts. And through the study, we use the findings to propose alternate paths forward. So participants walked around abandoned and dilapidated buildings to try to understand how materials weather and age and how they discarded and how we might extend their lifespans. Tokyo-kan, whose video you saw earlier, explored the gap between the use value and material life cycles of signage materials and attempted to visualize and critique the fast-changing nature of consumerism. And she created a new woven canopy made from discarded signage materials to extend their lifespan 3 years. This project about rust is bringing awareness to the social dimension of rust and subverted its image as valueless materials by using rust, which is imprinted with everyday living, to activate street living. I'll share a few other projects. This project looked at synthetic tungpan flooring, which is usually a quickly replaceable finish with an almost eternal decomposition timeline. And Subin, the student, experimented with using this eternal material for structural components, which have the longest duration within this project by Yanali explored transparency and opacity through embracing fragmented glass. This is a new urban factory proposed at Witiro, which brings awareness to the expanded system of material transportation and location-specific nature of construction materials. And last but not least, this project by Juhi Oh proposed an urban performance that elongates the process of demolition and waste removal, which extends the duration in which we come to understand material disassemblies and appreciate materials' role in preservation. So this year, we're going to discuss a lot about concrete, and as with previous years, our unit is about developing questions and not necessarily about providing it with answers. We're interested in opening up new areas of exploration that align with our curiosities. And while we make beautiful proposals, we also want us as architects to better understand how our work is intricately connected to the larger complex systems and how that evolves with the larger complex systems. And to be able to act critically and design.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about what unit 3. I guess maybe just some background about myself, similar that Catherine Fabricio did. My background is actually software engineering. I started off in software engineering, developing complex systems for banks, Boeing, and hospitals. And as part of that, artificial intelligence was something that sort of came more and more. But what was always interesting to me is it's not just how technically things work, but sort of like how people use it as a relationship with people and technology. And sort of through that exploration, I sort of got interested in design and architecture. So this is my second year sort of doing this, leading this workshop. Last year I came with my partner, Jimmy, who was together at SIAR. So we moved on. We had some sort of other engagements that I can make at this time. So this time I'm gonna do it myself. Actually, in fact, Jimmy sort of did this workshop the first time and he did it solo. Then I joined for the second one. So I guess this time is sort of like my turn. We both graduated from SciArc. At SciArc, we did 2 programs. One was looking at architecture and technology, and the second one was looking at architecture theory and teaching. So like together, we spent like 2 years of like dealing with idea of technology, architecture, and also like architecture education. What does it mean for the future? So right now, I'm still in LA. Jimmy has moved on. He's now teaching at Carnegie Mellon. So in LA, I teach part-time at SciArc workshops, advise on theses, projects, still engage in some more research on AI and architecture. And at the same time, I have a sort of trying to start a startup, which is looking at the very examples, like are there different ways of using AI specifically within architecture design. So I'm going to start off with there we go. So this is a recap from what we did last year. We tried to come up with a proposal of this area, but I think it's Chinatown. Hope I said that right. It's a great walkable path. But we said the process of first spending the first half of really observing people in different contexts. And the idea is to get sort of like as designers and architects, a lot of what we're doing is saying we understand humans and making proposals or whatever. So we took a long time going to observe walking, similar as Catherine and Fabrice were talking about. I think walking and experiencing the city firsthand and coming to a conclusion was important. After that, we brought that back. We mixed that with trying to teach students how to use machine learning and build virtual, basically building virtual human beings that can represent the activities that you observe and that you saw. So there was really always this constant mix of going out, seeing people, coming back and getting deep into code. And really sort of like that iterative process of going back and forth is what I thought was very helpful. Because most of the time, I think as introduction you heard, there's really a social aspect and there's a technical aspect. We're trying to like squish those together and constantly iterate back and forth. And then in the process, what we found is that you not only learn about how humans behave, but you also start learning how machine algorithms behave. And our objective was not really to so much understand how to code and understand computer scientists, but really to be able to ask questions about computer science and machine learning in terms of how it's being used and maybe propose different ways of how it's used. A lot of the work is done, the technical work is done in Unity, which is a game engine. It's very powerful, very popular. This is the end. This is the end. Yeah, it's an exciting work. So and we're gonna follow the same pattern. So let's maybe dig deeper into sort of like what we're gonna do this year. Next. You will start. Okay. Thank you. So I think the lecture that's he gave us at the beginning was perfect because that's what we're going to be looking at in the city. So like the evolution of Seoul as a city, and typically my challenge when I hear of evolution as it's discussed, it's always discussed in sort of a linear fashion because there's only one way in which evolution happens, and it's determined a very specific output and outcome, which is really not true. So we're actually going to focus on the Gangnam area. I think from the outside, this is really the image that you have, this metropolis, big city, high rises, sort of everything new. But there's always layers to this, right? And any city, Seoul especially, there's always many layers in terms of what it means and how it's evolved. So this is another area within right next to Gangnam, which is, again, I'm going to butcher this, excuse me. Gangnam again? Yes. There we go, much closer. This is a street that's obviously been redeveloped. It's completely changed, probably from what it was, and has a very different texture, sort of like from the big headshot look that we're looking at is really designed for people walking on the street. But the question we're going to ask, who is it been designed for? Is this really a sign of progress? So some of the issues we're going to be touching on is issues of scale, issues of audience, who's really supposed to be, what's the relationship between the human scale, also the relationship with cars. And we talk about scale is not only one dimension of size, but also quantity. Because both of those are different types of scale and sort of like create different sort of relationships between people, architecture, and the city. And this is sort of like another idea or another part of the role which has sort of been evolved. It's the dome. Right? Next time, it's like a crash course of Korean next time. So what is interesting here is another form of evolution of cities where it's supposed to represent, it's marketed as sort of like a traditional village, the traditional style of Korean sort of like urbanness. But while the structures look the same, what's happening inside have nothing to do with sort of like the culture of the traditional background. That is also another form of evolution of the city. And it exists. And then finally, another original. Got all the hard ones. This is another form of the city where not really maybe trying to really go back into the past and be nostalgic. Maybe it's a place that's more commercial in the 50s, 60s. The stores are sort of like remain the same. Nothing has changed, but still bringing influx of people. So we're going to really have a discussion in terms of what are these different types of evolution. So what is the relationship between people and the city and the architecture? As architects, you have decisions every time you have to make a plan, make a design. What are you going to do this and how are you going to change it? What are you going to keep? What are you going to keep behind? And why are you doing that? The slide that we selected is, oh my goodness, what did I do to myself?
Yes, correct.
There's a street here, there's an area called Rodeo Street, which is interesting. It seems to me when I went and took a chance to go look at it, there's like a lot of developments. It seems to be like a new area where new influx of money. It's, if you look at Instagram, it's a little popularity, it's very popular. But because this place is actually in the process of redevelopment, you go a couple of streets behind, you see sort of like what the old history used to be, and you see active projects that are in there. So like the section in orange here is sort of like the part that's already been redeveloped, and it's really sort of like representing itself as the new ideal of Seoul. Go to back, but we take a look at it and discuss what that means. And this green strip that we're looking at is a place where right now is actively a lot of projects going on. So if you look at it, I took a walk there. Almost every block there's somebody proposing something about what will happen. So this would be your site. The idea of this sort of workshop 10 days is to go out there, research, understand all these dimensions of what it means for city evolve, the various ways. Not to say one is good or bad, but really understand and come to our conclusions. And then we're going to go pick sort of like a neighborhood that is in active transformation. And I'm sure if you want to be architects and design a building at some point, you get a chance to do it based on the output. You're going to make one of the sites and propose what you would put there and be able to explain why you're doing that there. So so the big question is, where does machine learning come into this? So we're gonna go take something like our human sensibilities, go walk, observe, document its objective and how we understand it. We're gonna add a layer of machine learning to assist you. And what we use in machine learning is for two parts. One, to help you communicate your ideas. So sometimes as designers you say, this is what I think is gonna happen. You take pictures and the client is gonna be like suspect because like that's not really true. So you're gonna use machine learning to take your observations and translate them into sort of like virtual agents that can actually demonstrate what exactly you mean. So somebody can click something and watch this sort of like this behavior has happened and understand. And then you're gonna use those as well to come back in your design to see how your design impacts those agents based on your understanding. I think we're gonna start off with an introduction to machine learning. I think it's very important to understand there's like 3 types of machine learning that we probably hear about. Most part of it is like ChatGPT, fusion models, Mid-Journey, which is about creating images. That's just a form of what we call unsupervised learning. You give the machine a ton of data and it comes up with its own ideas. in terms of what it should create. Many cases of those, you as a designer feel like maybe your agency is lost. You just throw in your black box and hoping something comes out. And many of your visual skills that you have in terms of controlling color and so on are being replaced with just typing text in a box, which I feel like there's a loss of skill there. That's a whole different conversation. The other type is sort of like supervised learning, which is object detection. We hear a lot of this about like facial recognition is how it works. You give it a picture, an example, say, hey, this is a car, this is a person, who's a person from this gender. That's supervised learning. Very popular. Again, if you think about that, as a designer and when it's creative, it feels a bit like scary because it's sort of like predetermine what people are based on very quickly in a box. What if you don't fit in that box? What if people don't want to make assumptions on you? So that's sort of like the scary part of supervised learning. And then the other side is reinforcement learning, which typically don't hear a lot about, apart from maybe self-driving cars. And really the idea here is that if you it's supposed to be the way we learn. Meaning you try something, you see whether it's successful or not, then you know how things work. And then you try to repeat the behaviors that lead to good outcomes, you avoid the behaviors that lead to bad outcomes. And this is sort of the space in which we're going to be operating in reinforcement learning. We're going to go look at observations, make some sort of like statement in terms of how people are operating in space. We're going to come back and using an iterative process, train our agents to show those behaviors that we can then use to test against our design solutions and also test against each other's design solutions to see how they work. This is just another maybe commentary on sort of machine learning today. There's like 3 very popular ideas. One is renders. Can I quickly generate a render? Another one is the developers really love this one. Being able to understand zoning code, zoning code, so that we can quickly understand what to build in place, what forms will fit, and how can we make the most money out of it. Another one is floor plan generations, which is always about maximizing the floor area ratio. How to maximize it so we can extract the most value. The theme with machine learning as a whole so far has always been how do we do things faster, how do we extract more value so that it works better for us. The question we're asking in this thing is like, can it help us understand people better? So that we still make the decisions on how we design, but all it does is it gives us another some data input. So that I feel as designers, some of the theory we have is that if you give designers, architects the right information, the tools to get the right information, most times you get the best outcomes. By nature, bad design outcomes are because lack of information, not being able to understand sort of like the complexity of the issue. And we're thinking reinforcement learning can assist in that process. An idea of sort of like how we're going to do this, we're going to start off with human research, which is going out on the streets, observing, making notes. We're going to give an introduction to machine learning, but the main thing is take the research on human behavior that you're taking a look at, coming back and creating these virtual agents, checking them to see if they work, how they work, confirming them, and iterating back and forth with that continuously. By the midterm, you'll be in a position to present your research. What have you learned? What are the conclusions you've made? How's your agent behaving? And then finally, we're going to take those to come up with a design proposal that's going to test that agent. But it's not only going to test your agent, you're going to test it with other people in the classroom to kind of just again see the variety of possibilities that happen and how a design may work for one group, but might not work for other groups. But it's a constant conversation. And I do hope by the end of this sort of like workshop, what you get out of it is understanding of machine learning, but also just so like a better appreciation of just how complex humans are in different sort of ways humans exhibit themselves. Especially in a city of about 10 million, it's very unfortunate if we start feeling that there's only one way of it to evolve. We need to evolve for everyone at the same time. And just going to show you some quick examples. So this workshop has now been, this has been a 4th iteration of it. This is the last one we did at SciArt, where we were able to, I'm going to move this guy a little bit so you can see, I think. So you have your agent moving in space, and the agent is going to find point to space, and that directs it to the way it's going to go. So you're going to be creating agents that say how the agents move in space, what do they respond to. The big thing is we're really going to focus on again that humans respond to visual information. So this agent, this behavior that you're seeing, is all being dictated by what they can see with this camera. This camera is going to represent human vision. So this is what we're going to be taking a look at. We're going to have cameras on the agents. They're going to look in your virtual space. They're going to respond to some information, whether it be color, whether it be shape, whether it's size. That's what we're going to be investigating together. So this is one version of it. This time. Then maybe this is another more. Wait. And this is another application that another student did was just trying to understand how people can move within a museum to go find an attraction. Our attraction in this case is this green tree represents the attraction. So the agent is person moving around. You can see what's happening with the camera. You can move around. And then that way you can help with design. And at that point, once you have the agent exhibit new behaviors, you can go ahead and redesign it and see what happens. Does it get better? Is it worse? You may want to redesign it because you want to slow down the person so that just really engage with other people. All these are questions that you'll be able to do. But the key part is being able to have that idea and demonstrate it in a sort of like a visual format that's engaging and easy to understand. All right, thank you. Oh, I like. Gonna be helping us. There's too much pressure after the first presentation.
We are going to have a 10-minute break because you guys are very silent. So let's have a 10-minute break.
10 minutes.
Fabrizio, you're from Rome, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why Roman invention 2000 years ago.
There's a different type of concrete that's very stands.
I heard about the steel engineer come figure out how they made that Roman concrete.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your edge, kind of like a 14 house.
The thing is that it's not reinforced. So there is no calculation. There is no problem of calculation that breaks the That's why it's
How that's the formula.
Yeah.
the formula is always different.
So they guess maybe they use like a working hash.
Yeah.
There's one of the.
Yeah, I know.
I'm also super tired, honestly. But I think the important thing is that it was clear. get something. Yes, ma'am. You need anything? It's not cold. When I went out of the house, it was a little wind. It was pretty good. It's good. Good. So the tuition place is closed. The one close there. The one here. Yeah, no.
It just didn't come up on the map.
There is Olive, what's the name? Olive Young. Now in the place of that. We used to go last year every morning to one of these tuition place. Oh, but now it's closed. There is a Olive Young place of it. Oh, yeah, the one in the corner near the Simpson.
That place is first franchise place. It was very symbolic one.
So
So
different place.
yeah, the rent there is really high, so they
Yeah.
but there's one day the newspaper showed the water. That corner is a really positive area. It's symbolic area. It's really it used to be a McDonald's, a Burger King, Starbucks there, together all the corner. You know, like the kind of right out.
Yeah.
Rent fee is like over 5,000. Just people.
Yeah, and that store it produces more revenues than the coffee.
Only we are now. They sell cosmetics.
What is that?
They sell cosmetics.
Cosmetics. Yeah. Cosmetics in Korea is a bigger thing. I went to another one, which is very close to us, but it's small. It's just like no, not even. No. There's one very small. It's just when you go out on the left side. I remember it was bigger. Oh, sounds like small.
I think we went to
Okay, okay.
the second one.
Okay, I forgot.
I think I was just like.
Because we were also focused on this. She wants to get a coffee. This is not the only thing. This is what I use. Because you said something that I didn't stress.
Of the sea. I'm gonna have that one is. Only will have. It's not,
It's nice community.
yeah, it's not applying for the internship. Certainly it's more.
Now you graduate. Finished. Or she will be in the summer school.
No,
She's not.
she's.
So later we. She wants this out. So maybe later we get a copy of that and we can send. She's in the school, no? Because I think she came to send out, and we were too focused on delivering the presentation, so we didn't speak much. And then she left, because she looked tired. So,
Yeah, she had a meeting with the children.
maybe the campus itself can be better one.
Okay, so shall we start?
Hello. Unfortunately, some sites not here, but you come from another day. Maybe you come later from this month. After the basic introduction. So I will show some. So our title of the unit is Upper Perspective. So I would like to explain what's the perspective that you might know. Literally speaking, the art of representing three-dimensional design, etc. But as like a terminological meaning, that's in architecture, perspective is similar to the visuality, sight, the optical, view, eyes, and etc. It's fine. That's I did bring two of my Japanese students. So for just in case I wrote down adding Japanese text, but they can unfortunately they cannot read Japanese, so they should focus on the English. Anyway, if we focus sight, the vertical of course line of sight, and that is literally since Euclid has established optics around 300 BC. Line of sight has continued to be regarded as like a being straight up to now. And also Alberti, and after that, in the middle age, Alberti theorized the visual pyramid, and we call it visual frame. And when Descartes established sensory hierarchy of the five senses, so Descartes set up that sight is the topmost sense of the five senses, and also Descartes set up there are five senses. But from that time on, in many fields, including architecture, kind of the visual sight based on the perspective has taken a major role for transcribing those fields themselves as an axiomatic, self-evident medium and typical fixed medium. You can see some example, of course, like last Sarkozy and the Ideal City, Piero della Francesca, and Antonio Santi New City. And also Corbusier, Radiant City, and Real Subway, and Miss Van der Rohe even sketch, and the real completed one. And even the Alexander Peter Smithson criticized and denied the first models of Corbusier. The kind of principle of the perspective is the same, and archism as well. And postmodernists, loved the field of Francesca. The principle is the same. And like the newest young great architect, Hideki Nakayama, drawing actually, he consciously overlapped the defined viewpoint. So his thinking, his design suddenly tapers becoming the floor and the staircase. That is a fashionable way in Japan. But then, quite recently, in the field of anthropology, they have started to criticize that kind of the notion of the speciality. For instance, the scholar started to criticize objectification of the subjective by the Descartes. Simply speaking, the Descartes set up the seen and be seen. So that kind of the dualism created speciality. And then he said, and then the kind of the Descartes speciality divided the culture and the nature. So nature becoming culture. And also the same in the field of anthropology. David Howard proposed anthropology of the senses. What he's saying, simply speaking, that he's thinking about the five senses should be linked to with a more like context or like a social aspect, etc. Especially he denied about the phenomenology, because phenomenology tend to lead our like sensory experience as a universal. That is a key criticism recently. After that, Sarping now who is teaching in the Monash University in Australia, so maybe some guys from the Neural Uni, maybe you guys know better than me. Anyway, the thing radically insists on the renewed ways of thinking about the relationship between sensory categories and sensory perception of the five senses. It means that we should think about beyond the five senses. And then she introduced kind of a tactical example is walking as a multi-sensory everyday life practice. And that is quite useful for the field of architecture, because as we know, it's always surrounded by the absurdities or obscure or subtleties. That's quite difficult to catch by the kind of the medium of the sight. But the problem is how to catch even that actuality of the multi-sensory. In this case, even that practical example of walking. Walking actually started from catching the actuality of the walking, the start from 1928 as by the Alexander Brown. And also in the same year, Rudolf Laban invented the Laban notation. Then started the concept of the choreography. So that is even focus on walking is for the catching the and judging the specialty and also catching the dynamism of each part of the body. But not only for that, like a beautiful example of the Trompe-l'oeil right top. A Gauss project in Paris, France. He focused on 1 year as a Gauss project. The triangle showed that her residence and her piano teacher's house and school. So that is a good way to represent the city condition context. The same for Ida Hajime Ishikawa, that is a famous landscape designer. He recorded like 4 years his community, and that's almost 1040, but it's a good way to represent the city. But not only for the representing, the working with smart sensor becoming kind of medium. So Donald Apria, the neighbor in the visiting, that shows kind of the defined density for the walking actually completely influenced by the traffic jam. So it's becoming more territorial. And Hegelstrand, of course, is past case of the walking and the space and time and geography. And the Kevin Lynch, of course, as you know, the with like a more image or cognitive mind. And they're becoming more sophisticated. Lawrence Halpering set up the methodology moving notation. And Werner Chumi, the vividly tried to overlap the 3 different notations. One is the photogeography, one is the notation, the choreography, the another one is the drawings. Younger is the pioneer of the public space and public design and urban design. He also focused on the walking routes. How people make a shortcut, etc. And even the focus on the tiny scale, the Jeremy Till and Wingworth's beautiful drawing we call the diamond soda. And then we can touch the feeling how that rule and the manner is deconstruct and what kind of emotional activities happen. So even the tiny scales we can share and see. And then I would like to take a reference from the James Corner. James Corner, who is, maybe as you know, great landscape designer, who designed Highland with Dylan Scofidio. He wrote down very interesting text in 1999 named the Agency of the Mapping. And what he said, mappings are particularly instrumental in the construing and constructing with space. My student can read Japanese text. Even that example right one, working towards the inverted America. Just emotional drawing that America, but the top is south side. So then, even that kind of image reminds us the way it's okay. Why we always wrote down the top is a north. So there's kind of the hidden spatial hierarchy and our relations because the European people made that rule. And also very beautiful drawing by the Richard Long, that's 7-day circle of ground. He wrote down it's like the name of the street is very small, and the core is 10. And the big word is a midday. So suddenly that kind of the information implies us. That kind of the information itself is some kind of the creating that contextual geography. And also he drawn the imaginary circle, the 5.5 mile wide. Then we again that's circle implies us, so there's not existing that kind of circle. But if we draw the circles, it's really nice. Edward Soldier's case right to that, right photo. The downtown core of the city of Los Angeles. That is a 60 mile, approximately 100 kilometer radius. It's drawn from the center is a core of Los Angeles. Suddenly we found that on that circle, precisely layout is the military facilities. That's very well done all the military facilities. And also, of course, the photogeography is quite useful. Alexander Peter Smithson at one eye, and Bernard Herzberg for catching the dynamism of the human activities around the period. And back to the corner. And also, the most conventional map is Mercator projection. If we compare the Mercator projection on the right top, and the right bottom is the Buckminster Floods dynamic stream projection, then suddenly reveals that radically different spatial and socio-political structure. It means the Mercator projection on that north area more than twice than the south. So that's kind of hidden political condition that we figure out. So mapping has kind of two characteristics, two ways. One is analog, be precise. Another one is abstraction. This is, I quickly show the later, but I'm doing a workshop more than 10 years at the King's Cross in London. The King's Cross, a really developed area, continued to more than 20 years. The last year, my student did the kind of image map after a few weeks walk. But even the image map left side is quite precise, almost nice scale, a very educated student. And every student laughed at the right side because that is a blue is urban, the green is like the nature, and the orange is suburb. But to me, that is a kind of pure impression, pure like a first impression. So how to keep that kind of impression or like a feeling is very important. So always that kind of abstraction information vanish on the process. So that's both important on this unit. Anyway, so analog is from the corners text that is directly actual ground condition. Because both actuality, the map projecting a mental image into the spatial imagination. And the abstraction more like a narrative, fiction, or a feeling. So sometimes it's possible to, and also that is somehow abstraction maybe retroactively from a contextualized city, a field of architecture of the city themselves. Because whenever we think about like the Seoul or Tokyo, from my town to Tokyo, or your hometown, that kind of image is more like abstract one, not like precise. So somehow that is quite important to us. So mapping wise, the preset it's almost same text, but I didn't write down here, not only for the social, but write down this abstraction. Like a necessity, but publisher explained very elegantly, so I don't text it, but kind of try to catch the abstraction. So necessity is a kind of fast collage for feed. Somewhere is more closer, somewhere is more far. So that is a good way. So that is I'm stay here, but I'm in charge for the especially the phase one. From the phase two, some will come. Some are more serious, like a young star. He's like he's not yet, I guess. He's like a Tengokuma's golden boy. So he's more like a practical. So the site is old chiro. After this image selection, maybe the program at J1 is short lecture for old chiro. Even to me kind of impression. But for the phase one, we don't care about if you guys are doing the plugin for 3 days, or just drinking, or just staying at a cafe, or just walking around. We don't care. But we do care about how to show that kind of affective sense or sensory experience. That's the most important thing. And second, more physical, which write down the more the analog before the physical. And information the sensory components, so we should start to learn how to do. And also, what's the upgrade? You know, even I cannot speak French, so in English maybe that's after or post. But the reason why adding upgrade means like upgrade cubism. At that time, the cubism completely denied the cubism. the dynamism of the perspective. So upright sometimes used for the time of the part-time shape. As you can compare, this is very easy to see. George Braque, Picasso, try to catch all even just on the two-dimensional things, but try to catch dynamics or speed or movement of that each object onto the perspective. But while using upright cubism, Ozanpa and Corbusier completely denied. They said that each object has a fixed position. In the left side image case, is that fixed position creating the overlap of the shadow. It is very subtle. And also recently, it's not necessary to explain because outside of the application, but the umbrella primitive by the secret reality, they always use the upright very key word that I'm adding the upright perspective. And the side of this adding the how to delete this one? Sorry. Visualize the agency and the game board. Agency and the game board, I will maybe explain the phase 3. Very important. So, like a Duchamp, Larry's door, that is an opening and closing. That is one of the best interior design. That is including the contradiction or gap. So somehow the phase 3 try to take a proportional way to describe that kind of the gap of conflict between the abstraction and analog. I hope we try to make that kind of beautiful result. And the paper I really introduce what I'm doing. I'm basically focused on notation. One way of my notation is like a mixture of the lava notation and like more like it's from art, so and work dance diagram and also methodology importance, Lawrence and the moving notation. And I said that I have to design that is possible to update all the with the daily concept. And doing lots of the workshop and drawing and Christiania to become or working scrolls. And you can travel set at Hasselhoff people and the bus route. And not only for using that approach as a research, I'm trying to use that one as a design method. So the right side is after the taking careful interview with the 40 years with the old lady, try to draw, and then while keeping that like 30 years or 20 years or 50 years movement, while adding some kind of a small design. And also the other cities. And in Singapore, there's a prostitute and some old guys communication. Not like a sex negotiation, just like old chatting. And also King's Cross, focusing on what kind of the people's more likely. Some small residential design, I'm using a time geography. Also, this is right side is one old couple. They are not good relationship. They're always shouting, so I have to keep that distance. So blue is the husband, the red is a wife. So different time overlap there. It's completely separate. But onto the time geography, it's overlap. So while keeping the distance, we create some kind of deep space. And also more nice, their good relationship or couple to keep the very typical energy phase pattern, keeping on that instead of new design. And also in the King's Cross, we are focusing on like King's Cross agency gave to the people the new ideal sequence. It's completely on the around central, and then where it doesn't work, or the ways of fake sequence we figure out. Well, because the usually we make sketch and what kind of rule and what kind of the boundaries there. Even there's a things called red cap people that control everything. So where that red cap people's behavior staying, having other red cap people's behavior, we try to catch to subtle. That's it. Yeah. Sounds. Can you hear me?
Hi.
You do?
Hi. Yes. Thank you.
Please talk.
What sound?
I start to share my screen. Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Do you hear me?
I'm not hearing.
Hello. Do you hear me?
마이크
어.
설정이 지금 줌에서 소리가 들어가 없죠. 저 줌에서 이거 마이크 컴퓨터에 있어서 네, 확인해가지고 이거로 나오고 있어요. 마이크로폰에 스피커로 오늘
Hello. Is that okay? Do you hear me?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but it seems you don't hear me. No?
Yeah.
佐野さん、どこまで聞いてました？
どこまで聞いてました？タマさんのレクチャーですか？
そう。ユニットイントロだけ。
Well, actually, the
なんかゴールデンボーイって紹介しといたから。
yes, but here a bit noisy, so I can't hear your presentation clearly, but I call the word golden boy. I'm not sure if I am a boy, golden, silver, blonde, red, whatever, but anyway.
He's gonna share.
Can you show your work? 佐野さん。
He showed.
Let me try. I started to share my screen, but it seems I think you need to stop your. Oh, screen.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. Okay. Sorry for being late. I'm Sano. And I try to prepare something which is relevant to the contents or the presentation to by Tamao, but it seems it was not so easy for me to establish direct connections. I'm gonna show you some buildings I've designed, and my design interest is sort of related to what we're gonna do in this workshop. And the point is, I believe the architecture or should be something like urban space. It means in urban space, there are multiple viewpoints. Well, some urban spaces are really strong and simple, and it has a clear focus. I mean, in terms of perspective, it has a clear vanishing point, and all the urban elements are vanishing into one point. But in good urban space, according to my definition of good city, that gives us many choices. Which streets we go, or which narrow alleys we go, or there are many choices. That means we have those spaces have multiple purposes, and when I design architecture, I try to achieve something similar to urban space, which has multiple various focuses. And in order to achieve that, those three are the key basic keywords of when I design architecture. And the first one is small. Rather than design big, single, simple space, I prefer smallness. And I mean, multiple elements as a small spatial elements. Okay. Then I'm going to show you some buildings I've designed using the keywords of small space. So the first one is addition. So this is the compression photo of the space I designed and I added to the existing house. So on the right side, there is a small wooden existing private house, and I added this space. You see, the space is made of concrete. Okay, this is the client, the owner of the building, and this small space was really successful in terms of to have another space for her. Her husband passed away a few years ago, and then she became alone, and she asked me to design an addition. And her request is to sort of have a semi-public space in her residence. And this is it. She wants to invite some friends, locals, and actually, it really works to have multiple functions to the residence. Now, so the house became not only the house, but it's a sort of inviting people from neighbors. So it's become a part of the urban space. And since this project was sort of successful, and since then I've been trying to impose small space and bigger architecture. And this is a second attempt. Basically, the architecture massing elevated to the upper floor, and on the ground floor, there are many small spaces. So, as said at the beginning, the space underneath the architecture massing composed of sort of scattered small spaces. So the residents or visitors have many choices. It's like a hallway, but the hallway is not a linear, simple shape, but we have many choices. So from at a certain space, the hallway or the inner courtyard is really straight and very simple. But actually, it could have many spaces, and residents can find their own way to use the space. And another good thing is this kind of sort of complex space can have shadow and the wind blows. So even in summer, it's more comfortable than being just in the outdoor public space. So the third attempt is actually a community center building in rural area. The municipality who asked us to design the community center says the problem in that area is it's sort of hard to see people walking in the town because the town is very small and the citizens mainly use cars to commute to go to school or to go to company. So the municipality wants to create a space that we can see people's activities. And what I did is to have several small spaces and stack it. So this is the composition photo. There are two types of spaces. One small space is transparent or completely it's open to the exterior, and and also it has a closed box for meetings or the clubs. You see, it's not in a city center, but it has beautiful scenery. So this is what we wanted to, or the municipality wanted to. And they can see the people talking, chatting, walking. By designing those small spaces or the composition of small spaces, I think we successfully created several spaces for people. And again, this architecture actually connects the lake and the park on behind the building. And again, it has the people can have several choices, and they can find several directions or the focuses. And the previous three projects are designed by adding small space. And the next project is designed by subtract small space from one architecture massing. So the first case is this is a apartment building. And so this is what we did. We subtract small architecture massing from one simple square like architecture massing. So again, by doing this, even people walking on the street can have sort of different impression from this building. One can be interested in this kind of small corner, or one can be interested in this kind of exterior staircases. So the staircase penetrate the building, and that this led to upper floor level. In this architecture, the exterior staircases, there are 4 exterior staircases, and those exterior staircases are sort of nested. And at a certain point, they are connected and then go different directions. So the residents in this building can choose which staircase they gonna use for today. Maybe each day they have different purposes. One day, one needs to go to the station, or one day, he needs to go to a school, and so every day they have, they choose different staircases. So the last project is a private residence built in a forest. So this is the approach walkway to the house. Again, we subtract small architecture massing from outer architecture shape. So basically, we made the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3 exterior spaces and one single volume. So this is the, oh, it seems the, and this is the interior of the house. And again, there are many loops to go to upper floor. There is an exterior staircase which led the residents to the rooftop garden, and another staircase is for this next floor. And this photo shows there are several viewpoints or focuses in this space. One is the frontal courtyard, and another viewpoint is to the sky through the rooftop garden. Okay. So again, the outer architecture massing was designed by extracting several small spaces, but also interior is composed of boxy small special elements. And it has many openings, so people can choose where to go, where they see. They have several options. All right. Then the last project is another subtraction project. So this is a model photo. You see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 exterior spaces, and what we do is sort of same as the previous project. And well, the volume is sort of, the design is a box made of wood, is floating on the second level, but thanks to the extracted extra space, even though the exterior wall is very solid and we cannot see through, but from this kind of openings, the architecture is very transparent. So this is the interior. Oh, this is sort of easy to understand, the composition photo, the night view. So this is the section. And also, what is important in my design is the difference of the floor level. By creating several floor levels, that can give the people to, people are interested in to different direction. So, right. So as said, there are 1 to 3 levels, even only in the ground floor entrance hall. So those level differences can interest people, and they can be motivated to go up to the upper floor. Okay. This one, I like this photo because it has many directions. People see, if people see straight, they see the connection between the frontal lobe and the interior space. And then on the left side, there is an office space, and behind the office space, there is a terrace. And also here, top right, there is another terrace space. So this space has at least 1 to 3 spatial connections or directions or focuses. Yeah. Again, this space has many focuses, to the downwards or upwards. Thank you for your kind attention.
So as you can see, we have some kind of conflict there, like you need to breathe.
I don't want to do that, but I tried not to be confident.
But simply speaking, there's like a same design quality for dealing with human experience and human scale, especially like the working experience, the richness of the working experience. Bit too much explanation about building itself, though. It's quite linked with unit upper perspective, so how to make a multi-sensory viewpoint and view sequence. Thanks for the understanding. That's it. Sorry for that.
Thank you.
この後、次があるから言ってください。
Okay.
I see you on Monday.
Okay,
See you on Monday.
yeah, we'll prepare for the quick lunch for the backside there, so. But we have only 51 sandwiches, so maybe tutors, we're gonna have
Another, yeah.
separately. But
Really?
until 1 AM, please choose the unit. To follow the link. We found like a desk, we found like the wall. So, and then we'll attach the like income order of the space into the 6th floor, the unit space. So please check your the orders, and then you might have a signature like
There's no,
with the pictures, right?
there's no discussion.
So my tutors maybe have some sandwich, maybe we have like
Some.
6 or 7, so it's time to ask.
No, here, here.
Like,
Some.
your personal
はい。
interest in.
質疑応答ないみたいなので、もう
はい
出て大丈夫です。
あ
この後ユニットセレクションあるので、月曜日に。
あ、月曜日ですか？
月曜日日曜日何時来るんでしたっけ？
ちょっとですね。
See you on Monday, 佐野さん。
See you on Monday.
イメールね。伝えてください。
Okay. メールします。
If anyone have a question about the unit, now it is time to maybe ask the tutor individually. Okay? Anyone have any question? Well, while you are having our lunch, and you can ask some question of the tutor about the region. Okay?